Eddie the Echidna has been rushed into the Bondi Referral Hospital, Sash, after being rescued from the wine cellar of a suburban home.
He was removed from the house, and when I took him out, I noticed some blood on my leather gloves, and that's why I brought him here so he can have a check-up by a vet.
Hi, I'm Lisa.
I'm Susie.
Oh, beautiful echidna.
Yeah.
All right, bring him through. I can't remember the last time I treated an echidna. It's not very common that they come in here to Sash, so this is going to be a challenge. Okay, so let's get him out.
Oh.
Yeah, he's bleeding from the nose.
Oh.
I can see blood coming from Eddie's beak, and my heart just drops. I'm really worried that this guy has got some serious injuries. He's got a bit of blood on his claws, but I think that's come from his beak.
Okay.
And there is a chance that he's got some fractures there.
It's really distressing to see an animal bleeding, and just a little guy like that, yeah, I just want him to be okay to go back out. So do you think it's likely to be superficial? Or?
It's hard to know. The only way that we'll be able to tell is to actually take an X-ray of him.
Okay.
And the only way we'll be able to get a good X-ray of him is to give him an anaesthetic. Eddie has potentially damaged one of the most important parts of his body. Now, if he has a broken beak and we can't repair it, he's not going to have any chance of survival. Just want to get some X-rays of this guy.
Oh my God, wow. Okay, an echidna.
Yeah, we don't see them often. He's bleeding from his beak, so we'll give him an anaesthetic. That way I can have a better look and we can take some X-rays and see if he's broken anything.
I know. Poor darling, he's bleeding quite a bit, isn't he?
We've got to work pretty quickly here because we're giving him an anaesthetic, which is risky, and he's bleeding quite a lot, and we've got to get to the bottom of it.
Wise volunteer Susie is trying her best to stay positive.
I'm totally hoping that he's going to be fine, that his X-rays come back all clear, and that it's just a bit of superficial bleeding that can be stopped up, and that he can go and be released tonight.
I'm really hoping that I don't see any broken bones in these X-rays. If I do, I don't think Eddie will stand a chance at surviving in the wild. All right, so this is it. Eddie's future depends on this one. I'm looking for fractures, any breaks in the bones, any abnormalities. But at the moment, I can't really find any breaks, any areas where there are dislocations. And I think Eddie looks like he's in the clear. Looks like Eddie's just had a nosebleed. The nose and beak of an echidna is a very vascular area, so any bump or knock can cause a lot of bleeding. I'm just really happy that there is nothing broken. All right, Elise, so he is one lucky boy.
Great, good news.
And it looks like the bleeding has stopped as well, so that is great. Him lying so still has allowed the wound to clot, so hopefully now he's not going to rummage that nose into anything and start the bleeding up again, but I'm really happy that he hasn't got any permanent damage, and whatever is done should just heal up. Let's wake him up. I always get nervous at this part. And buddy, you wake up.
It's coming around now.
There you go, buddy. Hey, Eddie, you're a good boy.
Lisa can now share the results of Eddie's X-rays with the very anxious Susie.
Hi.
How'd he go?
Okay, so that's good news. Everything is fine.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Excellent.
It looks like it's just superficial.
Okay.
And he should be just fine for release.
Excellent. All right, that makes me feel so much better. Thank you. Alrighty, so you're happy for him to be released tonight?
I think it's much safer if you keep him overnight. That way you know for sure that that nose isn't going to start bleeding again.
Okay, great.
He's such a lucky boy. I mean, he could have had a broken jaw, and the fact that he's only got superficial wounds means that he can be released, and that just is the happy ending we all wanted for our very special visitor here at Sash.
Well, I'm absolutely stoked because he's going to be fine. So he's going back into the wild where he belongs, and it's happy days.
Good luck.
All right.
Hope it all goes well.
Yes, thank you very much.
See you, Eddie. Bye, buddy. Feel better. I could not have hoped for a better outcome for this little Aussie battler. He's back with Susie. Makes me so happy that he will stand a great chance to lead a long, healthy life in the wild where he belongs.
You are one lucky little guy. Let's go.
You cheeky little thing.
Two intriguing animals, along with keeper Kylie from the Symbio Wildlife Park, have arrived at the Bondi Clinic.
So today we brought in Rex and Leo, which are two native Australian mammals. They're very important to us. Now the reason why we brought Rex and Leo in today is because one of them, Leo, has not been sexed. So we want to determine the sex because hopefully we can start to get into breeding next season.
Kylie.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
You too.
I'm a little anxious because I've got no idea what's in these boxes. And you have a place that's full of surprises, so
We do.
let's go through and let's work it out there.
When I first see Kylie, she has this coy look on her face, almost bordering on smug. When she has that look on her face, it worries me. It means she knows whatever's in this box is going to surprise me.
Which one's my patient?
The smaller one.
Small one. Intriguing. Wow.
Have you ever seen one like this before?
No. No, I have not. But look at you.
So this is Leo, and Leo is a very special echidna.
This is an albino echidna, incredibly rare. You'd be lucky to see an albino echidna once in your lifetime.
How did you end up having him in the first place?
Around 4 years ago, Leo was actually handed to us from members of the public. They found Leo in a car park in Berry as a little puggle, but Leo wasn't able to look after himself, so we took Leo in and finished off raising him, or her, and yeah, we've had Leo ever since.
So you need to know if Leo is Leo or Leone.
Yes. Yeah, so Leo is 4 this year, which means that she's becoming sexually mature. So it's the time that we should be able to determine what sex she is. And hopefully, once we determine the sex, we can look at breeding next season.
If you want to know if your echidna is Arthur or Martha, you have to wait until they're at least 4 years of age. By that stage, they've reached sexual maturity. They actually have those organs and they're a proper size. Until that point, there's no point even trying.
Do you realise what you're asking of me? Sexing echidnas is notoriously difficult.
Yes, it is.
Because they only have one hole, and what's inside that hole, they like to keep a mystery.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, okay.
Kylie has set me a real challenge. This is not going to be easy.
So no little hints. I mean, he's not watching a lot of car racing or, you know, interested in...
She's keeping
Shoes.
keeping a secret for now.
Okay.
Yeah, very well hidden.
Echidnas are monotremes. Basically, everything that's sexual about them is kept inside, all their organs. So simply by looking from the outside, it's almost impossible to tell.
Could we actually get Rex out?
That we can.
Wow, she's a lot bigger.
She's a heavy little thing.
So we know that Rex there is a girl.
Yes, Rex is a female.
This is actually perfect. I mean, now I can see if there are any similarities or any differences. Hopefully then, we'll have our answer.
Males tend to have the spurs, females tend not to, but you can
Yeah.
have females that do have spurs as
So
well.
typically males do have spurs on the inside of their hind legs, but there is a percentage of females that have been found to have spurs, and there's also a percentage of males that have been found not to have spurs.
There's actually a tiny little spine there.
Yep.
But as we know, there's no guarantee.
Rex doesn't have any.
On size, what about the size comparison of the two of them? Females are meant to be bigger,
Typically, yes.
but Rex is a bit older than
Yes.
Leo.
Yep.
So we're getting a few little clues, but not really leading us one way or the other.
No.
We're a little bit stuck.
Yes.
The only one in this room that knows the truth is Leo. And Leo's not saying anything.
There is a little technique I have in my arsenal that's, well, a little bit special and can sometimes give you a bit of a clue as to whether Leo is male or female, but I don't bring it out just willy-nilly. You'll see why.
You know, if you tickle their belly, sometimes they can let you know exactly what they think of the
Belly rub?
tickle.
Yep.
I want to point out that my hand is quite high in his stomach region and no other spot. He's grabbing my hand too. Is that the spot? Is it? Huh?
Although Chris is doing a really good job at tickling Leo, I think that maybe Chris isn't Leo's type.
Clearly Leo has some stage fright or is just unable to make an appearance, if you know what I mean. We're still no closer to knowing whether Leo is male or female, so it's going to take an anaesthetic to find out.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What is with the colour?
Yeah, he's an albino, or she's an albino.
He or she?
Yeah, exactly. That's why Leo's here. It's a big day in its life.
Hello.
So, I know that we usually use something like this, but
Maybe problematic.
yeah, this isn't a good fit, so we're actually going to need to make a mask for an echidna. Give me a syringe, some tape and some tubing, and I reckon I can make you an echidna anaesthetic mask. There we go, that's more like it. All right, shall we start?
Let's do it.
Leo's keeper Kylie is keen to find out what Chris will discover.
So I am quite confident that we'll be able to determine the sex accurately with Leo today, being that we are in breeding season, so typically the best time to sex an echidna is in breeding season when their organs are ready to go, so fingers crossed.
Leo's going to go to sleep in a world of pink, possibly wake up in a world of blue, or pink. So we do need to get Leo quite deep with this. We'll get Leo to his back here. So you happy there?
Yeah, it's good at the moment.
All right, so what we're looking for is a little bulge in front of his or her cloaca here. So if we look here, we can see that the leg bone, so femur, coming up here. Now what we should be seeing if Leo's a male is a little bulge here, and I'm really not. So at the moment we're leaning more towards female. Actually feel something that is tucked away. You see that? You're seeing the unmistakable echidna penis.
It's the weirdest looking thing I've ever seen.
There is no doubt that Leo is a boy. I think we should tell Kylie. I think you should see this.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's definitely a boy.
Yeah. Not just an albino, but an albino male.
Wow, that's very exciting.
Looking at Kylie, it's clear she's absolutely stoked. Now that we know Leo is a boy, she's going to be able to find him the perfect partner, and together they'll be able to breed. So we'll wake him up and we'll deliver the news to Leo himself. Himself, as opposed to herself.
Okay.
Sit up, my little fella.
He looks so sweet.
Well, now we know, huh? Yep. A little high five. Thank you. All right. Yep. Brothers. Good work, Leo. You want to go home now? Okay. Leo is clearly a man, very clearly, and we're bonded in a very close way. But now it's time for Leo to go home. Is there like a welcome home Leo party planned?
Not yet, but I'm sure we can organise one.
A whole lot of masculine activities. So there you go.
Thank
it's
you
right
for
to
that.
Go home. How'd they go on the trip?
Good.
Chris and Kylie have now arrived at Symbio Wildlife Park just south of Sydney with echidnas Leo and Rex.
Okay, guys. Home time. Get them out? Is it just me, or does Leo have an extra spring in his step now that he's a new man?
I think so.
What's happened here?
We just had this little guy brought in.
Wow, okay.
His mum was found on the side of the road.
Oh, no.
The police found him in the pouch, so they've just brought him in to have a check.
A newborn swamp wallaby has been rushed into the Bondi Referral Hospital Sash after a car killed his mother.
Geez, he's strong, isn't he?
Yeah. He's very young,
he's
though.
very, very young. All right.
So little.
So little.
Yeah.
These are tiny neonatal animals and they are very fragile and they'll die fairly quickly. So the most critical things are to keep him warm, check him out for internal injuries or any structural injuries, and then get some nutrition into him. We'll just see if everything's working all right inside. Heart sounds good. He's got no blood around his mouth or his nostrils. He's nice pink colour. His gums are nice and pink. His legs are good. His tail looks pretty strong. His abdomen feels all right. He doesn't have any obvious bruising or anything.
Yeah.
Everything checks out pretty well.
Seems like a bit of a fighter.
He is. He's been very lucky, to be fair, because he could have been damaged in the road accident. He could have been there for a day or more and suffered from malnutrition and dehydration. And so, thankfully, he's in a fairly stable condition, so we can now transfer him to a carer who can feed him, keep him warm, and hopefully give him the start in life that has been taken away from him. Now we need to make sure he does not get cold because he has no hair on him. So let's get him into a heat warmer and he can get some nutrition, all right?
Yep.
We're in the middle of Sydney. We don't get a lot of joeys, but it's nice to see in the city that we still have this sort of wildlife around. And it's exciting and hopefully we can get a good result.
Oh, look at you. You're going to be such a big boy when you grow up. OK, Mr. Joey, let's pop you in your bed. This can be your pouch that you will now live in. Good boy. All right, Mr. Joey, I'll get you some food organised now. You have a little sleep. Okay, Mr. Joey. Oh, you're sleeping. You look so cute.
At Sash, little orphan Joey is getting plenty of attention. But now he's well enough to be handed over to a specialist carer from the rescue group Wires.
Raising these little joeys is hard work. They're like tiny little infants, like baby humans, baby horses, baby joey, kangaroos. They all take round-the-clock care, so they're a lot of work and you need to be very dedicated and experienced to do it. Come on in, Maureen. Let me introduce you to little Joey.
Oh, wow.
So he's been christened. He's pretty feisty, Maureen, and he looks pretty well as far as I can work out. He just needs some good nursing care, I think, and obviously being how young he is, I think he's going to be a handful for you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very lucky that he was found. Not many people will stop for dead animals, and they don't stop and check pouches either.
There you go, little mite, you get in there. Got a new mum now. Maureen's going to take care of you. That's great.
The little orphan will be fed 6 times a day and eventually, when he's strong enough, be released back into the wild.
And that's what the ultimate aim is, to get Joey healthy enough that he can look after himself, fend for himself, and be released hopefully into a national park somewhere close by to what his territory was originally or his mother's territory was. That's the critical thing. Okay. All right, Joey, good luck, little mate.
Thanks, Steve.
Hope all goes well.
Okay.
Good luck, Maureen.
Bye-bye. Okay, we'll settle you in and we'll get you home and give you a feed. I love caring for Joey's. It's very satisfying. The next step is I'll take him home, keep him warm, and then feed him 24/7 till he's ready to be released.